Hello and welcome back to another video in my walkthrough series of Cicada Detroit. In this video, we will be covering puzzles 20 through 23. Before I begin, I'd like to say that if you have questions about anything I say or do in the video, just ask in the comments and I'll be happy to address it. And also, if you learn anything new, be it a technique, a tool, whatever, let me know. And if you did any of these differently from me, let me know about that too. I'm always interested to learn about new tools and techniques. Now, without further ado, let's dive into puzzle 20. Alright, now here we have another audio puzzle. We'll start by listening to it. Alright, so it sounds like cicadas, and you may have noticed that it kind of sounds like Morse code as well. That's because the cicadas are making Morse code noises. Now you can try listening to it and working through it that way. I found it was easier to look at the audio as a spectrogram and pick out the Morse code from that. We'll start by downloading the file. You see that it's called Deep in the Forest Sounds of Cicada.wave. We'll save that. I'll open it in Audacity. Sorry, what I meant to say is viewing it on the waveform. Although the spectrogram isn't terrible to look at, you can still make out here's a dash, a dot, a dash, a dot. I think it is easier on the waveform. Here we can see like two dashes. Here's a dash, 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 the three dashes, dot, dash, dot. Now I've gone through and labeled them all in Paint, so you can see the Morse code here. Now we will take that and translate it using the Morse code translator from Morse World again. Paste that in. We see that it says more Cicada 125. And if you try that as your URL, you will see that that's not correct. That's not the answer. We have not reached the end. And you'll also notice that on the puzzle page it says that there are two parts. We've really only done one part. So we need to figure out what the other part is. Now the file name itself was called Deep in the Forest Sounds of Cicadas, which is another clue to another steganography program. In this case, it's called Deep Sound, hence Deep in the Forest Sounds of Cicada. You get Deep Sound, both words are in there. So Deep Sound is another program that you can download. So we have our program open. We'll select our carrier file, Deep in the Forest Sounds of Cicada. It'll ask us for a password, and here is where we'll use the text we got from the Morse code. Now make sure you type it in lowercase. It is case sensitive and uppercase will not work. Hit OK. And we'll see that there is a secret file called A1356021.txt, which is embedded inside this audio. We will extract it. And it says it has decoded it and put it in the following directory. And now if we open that file, we will see a URL. Take that URL, we'll go to it, and that takes us to puzzle 21. Alright, so puzzle 21. We have a few clues already to start with. Our URL is Mrs. Puff-A766198. If you Google that number, you'll find that it is Mrs. Puff's driver's license number. Remember that, that'll be important. And we have a video here. It's a scene from SpongeBob. Specifically, it's a scene where Patrick drops his wallet and then says, "That's not my wallet." I would play it in its entirety, but I don't want this video to get copyright striked, so you'll have to watch it on your own. Now, if we download this video, we'll see that the name of it is Miss Puff 1pass50p max2.mp4. We're going to save that. Now, the reason that Miss Puff shows up both in our URL and in the file name is because it's a hint at another steganography application. In this case, the application is called OpenPuff, which you can download from this page. And then once you have the app installed, we'll open it up. We'll go to Unhide. We will add a carrier. We will select the video. And now let's look at the rest of the file name. It says 1pass50p max. So we'll see that there's an option to have up to 3 passwords in this encryption. We can disable B and C, so now we have 1 password or 1 pass. And then for the next part where it says 50p max, if we look at the MP4 settings, because this is an MP4 video, we'll see that the maximum setting is 50%. We'll click on that option. Now we just need a password. So if we go back to the video, if you're to watch this through, so we'll see here that there's a driver's license number. Now if you'll recall, the URL had Mrs. Puff's driver's license number. And here, we have another number. And that URL was our hint that what we need is Patrick's license number as our password for the steganography app.
And we'll see here that it says A1359723. So we'll take that and return to OpenPuff, and we'll add that as our password. And then we'll hit unhide. Select our folder, hit OK, give it a second. It says 1 of 1 carriers processed, click OK, and it tells you that it extracted a file called a secret.txt. Hit done. We'll check our folder and we'll see that a secret.txt has appeared. We'll open that, and we'll see the URL for the next puzzle. We'll take that, we'll go there, and now we're on puzzle 22. Okay, so puzzle 22 starts off with a poem. However, if you look at the first letter of each line, you'll see that it spells out red herring. So this doesn't matter, we can ignore that, it's just a distraction. But below that we have this large empty space before we have the hint. Now there's actually an image here. It's almost entirely black. If you right click, you can hit save. We'll save that. You'll see that it's called hcc.jpg. And the other thing we have as a clue is the puzzle URL, Reconnaissance General Bureau 121. If you Google that, it'll take you to Wikipedia, where you'll see this is a North Korean cyber warfare agency. However, the only important part about this is its initials, RGB. And in this case, the RGB that we're looking for is the RGB color model, where RGB stands for red, green, blue. Now, let's analyze that image we got using a photo forensic tool. We'll go in here, we'll go to luminance gradients, we'll increase the intensity to max, and we'll see that there's actually numbers and words hidden in this image. First we have 0, 208, 132, a hashtag, an arrow and the number 1, and then equals /URL. So, following our clues for RGB, and the fact that this file is called HCC, which in this case will stand for hex color code, we'll go to an HTML color code tool. We'll change our opting to RGB. We'll type in our 3 numbers, 0, 208, and 132. We'll see that we have a shade of green. This also happens to be the exact shade of green that's used on the website, which is a strong indicator that we are moving in the right direction. Now back to our image, the next piece that we have after the color codes is the hashtag, which is how you usually express hexadecimal color codes, or hex color codes. In this case, the code being 00D084 after the hashtag. Take that. And then the last step is an arrow and the number 1. In this case, that represents shifting by 1. So we'll take our hexadecimal number, and we're going to shift each of these by 1. So the 0 becomes a 1, the next 0 also 1. In hexadecimal, the character after D is E, and another 0 becomes 1, the 8 becomes 9, the 4 becomes 5, and we go to that URL, and it takes us to puzzle 23. Alright, so for 23, let's zoom out a little bit. We have a painting here. Now this painting is by Picasso, as it says in the corner. This particular painting is called Blue Nude. If we download the image, we'll see that it is called Do You Know the Key to Success.png. We'll save the file. Now, the file name is a hint at a quote from Picasso where he said, "Action is the foundational key to all success." Now, in keeping with the trend of the last few puzzles, this one is also a steganography puzzle. Now, we don't have any hints this time as to which application we should use. The only real hint we have is the file type, which in this case is a PNG. So, in the absence of any hints, we're going to look back at the previously used Stego applications, the first of which that we used was OpenStego back on puzzle 19. So we'll try that one first. We'll take OpenStego, we'll change it to extract mode, select our file. So we have Do You Know the Key to Success loaded. Select an output folder for it. And then for the password, we will try action, because that is the key to success. We'll hit extract. And it says that the message file was successfully extracted from the cover file. And that the file we got was called orfailure.txt. So we can stop our search now. We found the right program. We will check that file. And we see that it's a link. We'll take that link and we'll go visit it. And we'll see that we have The Scream by Edvard Munch. So we're going to want to download this image, and we'll also notice that it is a very large JPEG. at nearly 7,000 pixels by 8,000. We'll download it. We'll see that it's called 1632 by 1266.jpg. Important to note that that is not the dimension, that's much smaller than the dimensions of this image. And now there are two ways that you could find the answer in this next part. So first, for a technical approach, I've opened it in an image editor that has coordinates. You'll see in the bottom corner here that it tells me the coordinates of my mouse over the image. If we go to the coordinates 1632 by 1266, we'll end up right about here. And if we zoom in there, you'll see that there is text. And it says / can only be solved by the MAD 1893. Now, the other way that you may have found this text if you didn't think to check the coordinates is if you were familiar with the history of this painting. In one version of the painting, there is a pencil inscription that someone wrote on it in that exact same spot. You can see this on Wikipedia, and the inscription reads, "Could only have been painted by a madman." In either case, whether you knew where this inscription was and you checked for that spot, or if you checked the coordinates from the file name, you would have found this URL, "Can only be solved by the MAD 1893. So we'll go to that URL, and that takes us to puzzle 24. Alright, and we'll be stopping at 24 for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.